Good morning. Welcome to the world of poetry. Poetry is a rhythmical creation of beauty in words, rightly said by Edgar Allan Poe, an American poet. Poetry is music to the ears, soothing, takes you to the land of rhythm, fantasy, gallantry, and brings you close to nature. Poetry sparks imagination, brings forth creativity, ignites emotions, and touches the soul. Poetry is a deal of joy, pain, and wonder, and a dash of dictionary, said Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese American poet. Poetry is beyond any language barriers. Great poets like William Wordsworth, John Keats, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Rabindranath Tagore, Robert Louis Stevenson, to name a few, have treasures hidden in their poems. We have started poetry clubs. The names of poetry clubs are grade wise. For preschools, we have Robin's Songs. Grades 1 and 2, Rhyme Chime Club. Grades 3 and 4, Creative Club. Grades 5 and 6, Poetry Enthusiast Club. Grades 7 and 8, Poetry Conjurers Club. Grades 9 and 10, Amateur de Poesy Club. To begin with, the teachers will present an anthology of poems on this portal covering a plethora of themes. This initiative is to inculcate in students the art of enjoying and appreciating poems and motivating them to pen down poems. Robert Frost, an American poet, rightly said, "Poetry is when emotion has found its thought and thought has found its words." So, students, get ready to pen down poems and send them to your English teacher through Yokiboo chat. The best and original poems will be uploaded on this portal. Happy listening, happy singing, happy composing.
Hello, everybody. Here I am once again with yet another interesting poem for you. But before we begin with the poem, let's look back and recall the time we spent at home during the last few months. It was a difficult time indeed for all of us. But behind most difficult times, we all know that there are things which we cherish and which come as blessings in disguise. One among them is a time we got to sit and have a small peep outside the window, and in the absence of noise from vehicular traffic, some of us could admire nature at its very best. The joy of seeing butterflies flittering around, the trees swaying in the wind, the clear skies, and the beautiful flowers in different hues. Also, we definitely cannot ignore those creatures who added music and symphony to nature and still continue to do so. Can you guess who they are? Yes, they are the birds. They come in different sizes and colors, not to forget the sounds that they make. Now, children, amidst all these, there's a bird, very humble, and we rarely see it. Moreover, it is feared by many, and that, as you see on the screen, is the owl. So, our today's poem is about an owl. Owls have long been a subject of fascination. They have striking eyes and enormous wings. Owls are able to fly silently and slowly. This helps them in hunting. We all know that a group of owls is called as a parliament. Yes. So the collective noun for a group of owls is a parliament. Okay, children? Well, before moving on to the poem, let us know a couple of interesting facts about the owl so as to enable you to understand the poem better. To begin with, we all know that the owl is called as a wise bird. Do you know why, children? Well, let me tell you. Now, this dates back to the Greek mythology where goddess Athena, who was known to be very wise, was often seen with an owl nearby. Also, the owl's big eyes, their peaceful appearance led the Greeks to think and believe that owls had some sort of inner light that allowed them to see at night. Also, in many countries, owls are said to bring good luck and offer protection from suffering. Not to forget that the owl is many a times also seen with goddess Lakshmi. Now moving on, our second fact. Owls have swiveling heads. Now what does swiveling heads mean? That means that they can rotate their necks 270 degrees. So these are two interesting facts about the owl. So children, here on the screen, you can see some different kinds of owls. So now let's move on to the next slide. Well children, now let's speak about the poet of this poem. As you can see on the screen, the person that you see is Ruskin Bond. So Ruskin Bond is an Indian author of British descent. He is considered to be a great Indian writer who is also well known for the wonderful stories that he's written for children and for his novels as well. Now, children, do you want to know which was the first novel that he had written and also at what age? So let me tell you. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof, when he was just 17. And since then, he has written over 500 short stories. He also has written various essays and poems. And he is therefore considered as one of the most loved and admired storytellers of modern India. So children, here are some books written by Ruskin Bond. You can pause the video to see the names. Further along, you will also see a couple of more poems that he has penned down. So children, now let's begin with the recitation of the poem. But before beginning the recitation, as always, let me remind you that you must pay absolute attention to the pronunciation of the words, the voice modulation, and the intonations very carefully. Okay? So here we go. The Owl by Ruskin Bond. At night, when all is still, the forest's sentinel glides silently across the hill and perches in an old pine tree. A friendly presence his, no harm can come from the night bird on the prowl. His cry is mellow, much softer than a peacock's call. Why then this fear of owls calling in the night? If men must speak, then owls must hoot. They have the right. On me it casts no spell. Rather, it seems to cry, the night is good. All's well, all's well. Okay, children? I hope you've listened to the recitation of the poem very carefully. So, children, now let's understand the poem. Beginning with the first three lines, what does the poet say? At night, when all is still. That means at night, when it's quiet everywhere. There's silence, there's pure silence everywhere. The forest's sentinel. That means the forest's guard. What does he do? He glides silently across the hill. Gliding means moving quietly and silently. So the owl, who is the forest's guard, he glides or moves silently across the hill. So what does perches mean? Perches means that when a bird sits on the branch of a tree, on the windowsill, on a wall, or anywhere else. Okay, so the word perches is specifically used for birds. So the owl sits on an old pine tree. A friendly presence is. No harm can come from night bird on the prowl. So let's begin with the third line. Now, the owl is considered or known to be a night bird, and it is on the prowl. On the prowl means it is out hunting, hunting for food. It is searching for its prey. Okay? It is not there to harm us. In fact, his presence is really friendly. Okay? So, children, now what does the poet say in these two lines? His cry is mellow, much softer than a peacock's call. He says that the owl's cry, is very soft, much softer than a peacock's call. Children, in the following two slides, you will hear the peacock's call and also the cry of the owl. Children, Ruskin Bond says that the owl is a very, very peaceful bird and it is absolutely harmless as well. Moreover, its cry or call is very soft, even much more softer than many, many other birds. Then why this fear of owls calling in the night? Why are we so scared when we hear owls call out at night? He says that if men must speak, then owls must hoot. Can we stay without talking for a few hours? It seems and it sounds impossible, isn't it, children? So if we can't make do without speaking, how do we expect an owl not to hoot? They have the right to do it. That's what Ruskin Bond says. If we have the right to speak, they too have the right to hoot. Now, what's hoot? Hoot is the sound that an owl makes. Children, Ruskin Bond also says that on me it casts no spell, rather it seems to cry, the night is good, all's well, all's well. So, what does he mean by casting no spell? Casting a spell means doing some kind of magic so as to change somebody. He says this because people feel that when owls hoot at night, it is an indication of something negative, something wrong that's about to come. Some kind of a bad omen. But that's not so. The poet says that on him, on Ruskin Bond, the owl has no negative magic, no casting of spells. Okay? Rather, the hooting of the owl sounds like he's saying, or it is saying, the night is good, all is well, all is well. So, children, now let's do a second recitation as we always do. Coming to the poem once again, the poem is The Owl, written by Ruskin Bond. At night, when all is still, the forest sentinel glides silently across the hill and perches on an old pine tree. A friendly presence his, no harm can come from night bird on the prowl. His cry is mellow, much softer than a peacock's call. Why then this fear of owls calling in the night? If men must speak, then owls must hoot. They have the right. On me it casts no spell. Rather, it seems to cry, the night is good, all's well, all's well. So, children, please memorize this poem and recite it time and again and enjoy it. Well, children, here are some words with their meanings given alongside. Please pause your video and have a look at the words and also at the meanings that are given. Some more words and their meanings. At the end, you will see there are a couple of phrases, cast a spell and on the prowl. Okay, so you have their meanings too alongside. So please have a look at these two. It's activity time. Do you all see a word on the screen? Do you know the meaning of this word? Well. Let me tell you what this word exactly is and how do you pronounce this word. This is a cinquain. So the word is cinquains. So what's a cinquain? A cinquain is a 5-line poem. And today I'm going to teach you how to write a cinquain. Okay, children? So here listed below are the rules and the format for writing a cinquain. Let me explain that to you in brief. Children, in line number 1, you will have just one word and that should be a noun. In the second line, you will have 2 words and both of them should be adjectives describing that noun. On the third line, you should have 3 words, all the 3 ing words related to the noun on the first line. Okay? Then on the fourth line, you should have 4 words. That is, it could be a phrase or it could be also be a very short sentence. Okay? That again should be related to the word in line number 1. All right? And in line number 5, again you will have just one word that too should be related to the word in line number 1. All right, so that's very easy. Now let's move on to the next slide wherein you will see a couple of examples of cinquains. Let's have a quick glance at the cinquains that you see on the screen. So these are examples. The first one, dog, that's a noun. Then we have 2 adjectives, loyal and brave. Following that, we have 3 verbs or ing words, that is loving, playing and guarding. And then on the 4th line, we have a phrase, that is best friend of man. Coming to the last line, we again have a noun, one word that again is related to the word dog. Okay, now let's see the second example. We have spiders, the word spiders on the first line, which is a noun, followed by 2 adjectives, that's hairy and scary. Then we have three ing words: jumping, spinning, hunting, and then creeping through the night. And the last line, we again have web spinners. So children, these are the two examples of sinkanes. So now children, here we come to the second technique about writing a poem. So what's our second technique? You can pick up a few pairs of rhyming words and you can develop a poem around those rhyming words. Okay, children? Now here's a wonderful example for you. Let me recite this for you and let me also point out the rhyming words which have been used in this poem. So here we go. Meet Kolu, the owl. Kolu the owl has a scowl. So what's a scowl? Like, when you're not very happy, the expression on your face. Fine? So owl and scowl are rhyming words. As he lost an ear and he cannot hear. So here we have ear and hear. Where could it be? He must go and see. So be and see are again rhyming words. Around the town, he went with a frown. So town and frown are again rhyming. Looking for his ear. Help him. Oh dear. So now the last pair of rhyming words here is ear and dear. So children, I hope you understand how exactly we have to create a poem around rhyming words. Okay? Are some more poems written by Ruskin Bond. If you see very closely, you will notice that all the three poems revolve around animals. You don't have to memorize these poems. Just enjoy reciting them. Okay, children? So that's all for today, children. I hope you enjoyed the poem and you will enjoy doing the activities equally. Okay? So take care, be safe, and bye bye for now.